check out the view from in here now. It used to be this dingy, kind of gross place. It's still kind of gross. We haven't quite cleaned it up, but it'll get better soon. But now we can sit in here, meet. We're gonna do some lawn furniture out here and just make this great. And here's what we're working on now. Hey guys, every year people always ask us, what do we do in the winter? We do all kinds of stuff. Sometimes we rebuild displays, sometimes we travel, redo stuff in the retail store. Every year we stay pretty busy. In fact, this year we have such a huge to-do list, we're actually wondering how we get it all done. One of the things I think so important though for us about winter is that we get a chance to kind of take a big deep breath and then restructure for next year. And that usually starts with the cleaning. And that's exactly what the guys are doing now. When I say cleaning, I mean deep cleaning. We're gonna come back here into our construction area and make this place not only organized, but super cool. Let me show you kind of what the guys are up to. So what happens with the construction team is over the years, we just started inheriting different types of stuff. Everything you see here, here, up in there, all of this stuff in here is actually all stuff left over from flower shows that we try to recycle over and over and over again. This year we've made the decision that we're probably not going to do a flower show, so what are we going to do with all this stuff? And we might not ever do a flower show again, so what can we do with these 26-foot cedar 2x8s? What can we do with these pergolas? What can we do with other displays and do something cool in our own area? This workbench was from 3 buildings ago that we used to use for cutting PVC pipe for all of our old biofalls to support the filter mats. We don't use the workbench for anything, so the idea is to not only clean it, but maybe get rid of it. What are some of the other things that we want to do in this area?
Like you said, we never use this workbench, but maybe create a little workspace for us in here for when we do these little one-off fabricated things. But we also want to do like a teammate lounge of our own.
Let's show them the old teammate lounge and why we want to get rid of it. So underneath this roof was a teammate lounge that we built, gosh, I want to say 6-7 years ago, maybe even longer than that. And the big problem would be what?
It stinks really.
Yeah, it's kind of gross. There's zero ventilation in this thing.
No.
And it served a purpose. It's kind of cool. You know, we've got a desk with a computer. We've got our fish tank. That really has only caused us problems, right? And when I say problems, I don't know how many times people have gone to fill it and forgot. You come back 6 hours later and it's pretty wet back here. Yeah. So really just kind of dismantle this whole space and then what are you picturing and doing under here?
Something crazy cool. You know, we can still enjoy hanging out here, but it's functional. It has everything that we would need to run the business through the season. A nice little eating area for us, and of course put our own creative spin on it, right? Like doing something unique and cool and making the space really feel like it's the Aquascape space.
I think the first order of business is get rid of this wall, right?
Yeah.
Instead of this loungy beanbag and couch sitting area, more of like an industrial kind of spot.
Like a man cave.
A man cave. Garage man cave look. Does that mean we're gonna use a lot of metal and gas pipe and
diamond plating?
Yeah, maybe some inappropriate calendars?
Yes. It's going to kind of evolve. You and I have kicked around some ideas from projects past that we can repurpose some of our material that we have lying around the shop. So I'm excited to see how that's going to turn out. But I think it's just going to kind of evolve on the fly.
We want to keep little things, like we do need a desk to do some stuff in the morning. Here's our scoreboard, just letting us know where we are goal-wise, so we still need that with the dry erase board and where we stood for the year. We need a spot for keys, for all the different equipment and machines and gas. Just reorganized. So all of these bins under here, so I say bins, not really bins, but these spaces, we're gonna look to empty all of these spaces out and have them organized for jobs. So Monday's job will go here, Tuesday's job will go here, Wednesday's job will go over here. We definitely want to get a spot for the forklift to be parked rather than just randomly sitting in the middle of the floor. Just get this place looking like basically if anybody were to start on our crew, they knew where everything was because it was all labeled, organized, and displayed correctly. You can tell we've got a ways to go. Our fitting center, oh my gosh. Trealiers that we created for our flower show might get reused for something. Those were actually trees cut down, turned upside down, and strung with Christmas lights to go over dining tables. Didn't want to throw them away quite yet. Holding on to the past. But anyways, wish us luck. Can't wait to show you guys the progress and what we come up with. It's gonna be cool. So you can see we've gone ahead and organized a bunch of this stuff. We still have to get the signage for all this so we know what everything is. Back over here, we've repurposed a shed from the flower show. We're gonna kind of make this another meeting area. Back over in here, building some different pergola type structures that we're gonna suspend from the ceiling. And right now, we're in the middle of hanging these. We call these tree alliers. They were crabapple trees, just cut down and turned upside down, and we strung them with some lights, and we're gonna repurpose them and hang them from over here. So instead of doing a roof over our little shed area, we're gonna have a bunch of these things. So I can't wait to show you what that looks like when it's all finished. This space is actually gonna be really awesome. Looking to reuse some of these stones. These stones were originally used at a flower show years ago. They were big limestone outcropping pieces, and we had the bottoms of every single one of them cut off with the idea that we could take these stones and then stand them up. And they created this really cool looking wall, this big vertical wall. And so we just randomly kind of set them. And a customer was gonna actually use them because he loved the way we set them, and then had a change of heart. So we've been sitting on them now for a good 4 or 5 years, and we're looking forward to using them as a permanent feature to our little construction slash cave. Look at how awesome they are. They're so cool. It's actually killing me that I'm not using these at my house. Alright guys, I haven't checked in a while. It got a little warm, so we went and took care of some more shutdowns, had some heaters, that kind of stuff. But we have been poking away at this a little bit at a time. And we're finding stuff that's 20 some years old back in here that we've just been holding on to. And so I would call it this massive deep cleaning. But you start doing this massive cleaning like this, and you really just, you open up a huge can of worms. I look at all kinds of stuff from like fittings, like what's necessary, what's not, what do we use on a daily basis, how are we gonna organize leftover pipe. Like we have a lot of 2-inch and 3-inch pipe that's left over, and we have 15 feet, you know, 18 feet of pipe left over. It's too much to throw away, but it just accumulates in a big pile. So how are we going to organize that stuff later? How are we going to organize leftover aqua blocks? How are we going to organize leftover fittings like you see right here? And not so much organizing, but how do we get to them? How do we know that we have them so they don't get put into a box and then later disappear for 20 years? So this area is coming out really nice. Really, this whole shed was left over from a flower show. All the wood, those tree, upside down tree things that have the lights on them. We put this together because neither Chris or I had the heart to throw it away. It was built for a show, and we thought we'd repurpose it. And then as we started putting it together, we found a reason for it. Spring clean out season, we go through a lot of waders. They're never properly stored. When the waders aren't stored, they tend to leak. The team put together this little boot rack that they could use. We're gonna also use it to hold some nets and water treatment products for our aqua gardens. This area got buffed out, rendered the grinder, buffed out this floor. We're gonna add some epoxy floor finish in here, probably a picnic table or something that the guys can sit at as they get ready in the morning. Kind of redid our tool area. We put a lot of stuff on casters, so now all of our tools that sit in here, we can actually roll this thing around and bring it out. Look at all this stuff we have, and I don't even know why we have it, but there's an entire box of 3-inch to 2-inch reducers. We've got an enormous amount of 3-inch elbows. I think all of those are left over from manifolds. Here's a bunch of manifolds, some more 2 to 3-inch reducers. Those are bushings, some 45s, like just all kinds of stuff. And if we don't label it and don't know where it's at, then we never use it. In fact, we often end up going to buy more of that stuff. So if we can label it and put it in plain sight, then we'll go through it this year. I would say the floors and that area over there are probably the last 2 big things we have left to do. And then we've got to put something in here fun. Josh and I talked about doing something fun with that pole, but we haven't even shared that idea with Chris or the rest of you, so tune in.